3rd, 7th, and 4th all really high.
3rd, a 7th, and a 4th.
Hey,
Ready?
Yeah.
Is she in first right now?
She's in first right now.
Motherfucker, I've been mortified, fortified, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Traumatized, victimized, seen some of my niggas die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them niggas slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war. Tell that nigga he gon' pick a side. Hood ties from hood life, now niggas doing dope lines. Don't run into the cops, that's a bitch, nigga exercise. Don't run into the cops, that's the motto. I don't see it coming to 3, 2, 1, go!
Congratulations to all of our champions here at the 2024 West Coast Classic.
Oh, you know what it is, man. I mean, once you've been on the top, you just got to get back there.
Good morning. It feels early, but it's not super early. We are headed over to Dignity Health. That is in Carson, where the CrossFit Games used to be held, the old Home Depot Center, the old StubHub Center. So we are headed over there for day 2. I wasn't here for day 1 of CrossFit Semifinals, the North America West region. So pretty excited to be here. I have went to the CrossFit Games a bunch of years. I went here in Carson, I believe 2014, 15, and 16. So it's kind of cool to be back. 2014, I had been CrossFitting for like a month. I just happened to be coming to LA to visit a friend, and we went to see the CrossFit Games. So it's really cool to be back. I'm excited. We're gonna head on over there. Driving up, it all looks so familiar from the last time I was here, which was like 8 years ago, which is wild when you think about it. Now I just have to find where to get my press credential, because I don't know where I'm going. Finally made it just in time for the final heat of men. So we'll head down there. Really surprising me on event 2, coming in first place. I don't think you can expect anything better. I mean, first place is the best position, but I thought maybe the barbell being moderately heavy might impact him, but totally just hit it out of the park. I think Colton Mertens is sitting in a pretty good spot to qualify, but we do have to remember last week Oldis Upanik was in first place and then didn't make it, so you never know. Right, event 2 for the individuals is done, and surprised me to see Rebecca Fuselier finishing in 2nd in a workout that has pretty moderate to heavy front squats. And it's interesting to see Colton Mertens won that event for the men, Rebecca Fuselier won that, or came in 2nd for the women. Ariel Lowen won the event. Not a super surprise there. She's incredibly fit and could win this semifinal. She was in my top 2, so wouldn't be surprised to see her win the whole thing. So winning this event, not crazy. But Rebecca Fuselier, she was an athlete that I thought was going to be on the bubble. She still might be, but to win or come in 2nd in this event is a great buffer for her. Very, very impressed to see that. She looked great. Colton Mertens also came in 1st in this event. So this event here, event 2, the one with the double unders, the front squats, that might, toes to bar, that might be a smaller person workout. It seemed a little bit more even in some of the other regions, but here it looks small person workout. Worked really well for those athletes. They're gonna need it with this rope climb workout and bike workout that's coming up. Second to last team event is done. CrossFit Invictus winning that one. Invictus and Invictus Inconquerable, or Unconquerable, are the only two teams that are really in it to win the whole thing. There's just 8 points separating them going into their final event. Either of those teams could take it all. Both of those teams, though, are also more than 100 points clear of the cut line, so both of them will be heading to Fort Worth, Texas. It's just a matter of seeing who is going to win. This is a nice little view. We've got these palm trees behind me here. This is the soccer stadium, like I said, is right over that way. Tennis stadium's kind of in front of me here. This is my little microphone, if you're wondering what that is popping up. But that was event 3. That was the one that I felt, and I think everyone felt, was just very much heavily weighted towards a bigger athlete. Although I thought it was going to be Brent Fikowski's to lose, and Brent Fikowski came in 4th. Definitely not a bad position. James Sprague, though, who isn't quite as tall as Brent Fikowski, but also is a taller athlete, came out, won that, just looked fantastic the entire event, celebrated at the end of it. I heard him talking to someone as he walked out of the stadium and saying that it's the dream come true to be able to win events like this. So that was pretty cool to get to watch him do that. But let's talk about Colton Mertens, who was in first place overall going into this event. I think we all knew he wasn't going to be in first place after this event was over. It just would have been impossible. It was a little bit, it just sort of sucks to see he's just built incorrectly for this workout, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about that. He was trying to keep up at the very beginning. It looked like in the first round he almost forgot his second rope climb. Well, he definitely forgot the second rope climb. He tried to get right back on the bike after the box jumps, and his judge waved him back to go back to do his rope climb. He was just trying to keep up with the rest of the field and totally forgot a movement. So the leaderboard isn't updated quite yet when I am recording this right after the event happened. It looks like it still is Colton in first, but it does have the placements in, and it looks like he finished 24th, which, if that's accurate and they're not still inputting things, I mean, that's not bad. 24th, it's not great, obviously, but I think you can still qualify with a 24th position, and he had a 5th and a 1st, so he did a lot to mitigate the damage of this event, so hopefully that's enough to, he's strong. We saw in the workout before this that he's very strong, could move that barbell, so hopefully this is his worst event and he can make it back to the games. I know we all kind of doubt him because of his size, and this is a workout where that comes into play. We'll see how much comes into play throughout the rest of the weekend. I'm not sure who's going to be overall on the top after this event. Probably, I'm going to say Pat Vellner. even though the leaderboard hasn't refreshed, Pat has a 4th, a 2nd, and a 2nd. I think that's going to be enough to put him in 1st going into day 3, which day 2 is usually moving day, but I'm going to say like day 3 in this new format is the big moving day because you have those 3 events. So we're going to head back into the tennis stadium for women's event 3.
Get him on, come on!
I am over here having a little snack of Italian ice. The red kind of matches my shirt. We just wrapped up event 3 for the women. We still have teams to go. That's why I need a little bit of sugar to keep me going. But for the women, Alex Gazan won event 3 pretty handedly. She was in the 3rd of 4 heats, won the event from there. The 4th heat, Emily Rolfe came in 2nd, but she was 45-ish seconds behind Alex Gazan's time. So Alex Gazan just set like a blistering pace that nobody could really compare with. But at the top of the leaderboard, we have Katie Kenyo, not sure how to say it. I'll have to listen to the broadcast to hear it. But she is in 1st right now. She has a 3rd, 7th, and 4th all really high.
3rd, a 7th, and a 4th.
Hey,
Katie,
yeah.
is she in 1st right now?
She's in 1st right now.
I had her as my dark horse.
To win or
to qualify.
To qualify, she's.
It's looking like a good thing.
It's looking like a good thing, but then we had Oldest Ubnix who was in 1st.
Yeah, but
for 2 events, and then.
Was that after day 2 though?
It was not after day 2. It was the first 2 events.
Right.
He was 1st and 1st in those events, and then yeah.
You're doing your update show here?
I am, yeah.
It's a good spot.
It is because it's got the sun.
Yeah. And there's the bus in the background.
And we got the bus. We can advertise Tier, Wadapalooza.
We have to. The SoCal edition.
The SoCal edition. I don't really get what's happening with that, do you?
Yeah.
It's like teams of 3.
I heard registration's open right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you?
I swear.
Okay.
No, it is. Yeah.
Great.
The guy who runs it was trying to talk Alexis into signing up.
Oh, or you can't sign up because of your.
He didn't give me a discreet no.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try at the moment.
You should try.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He said I couldn't do the gauntlet at Wadapalooza, so I don't have a good track record.
Oh, got it.
He's like, hey, you can do it, but you can't be on the leaderboard. All right, I get it.
Cycle off.
Right. No. All right, man. I'm going to the Lexus. I'm leaving. That's why I'm saying hi to you and your stuff.
Yes, thank you.
I want to see what's going on over here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, back to this, to that little detour. So, Alex Gazan is in 2nd. I still would assume she's gonna beat Haiti overall in this competition, but really good start for her after day 2. We still have half the points tomorrow though, so let's just keep that in mind while we go over this, because this can really change. Abigail Domit, she's in 4th, so she's done really well. Emily Rolfe came in 2nd in that last event. The 2nd event, the 1st event today with the front squats, that kind of hurt her a little bit, but a 2nd, a 13, and a 2nd, not too bad there. Ariel Lowen looked surprisingly bad on this 3rd event with the legless rope climbs. I was watching the leaders, so I didn't see how she was falling behind, but she did fall quite a bit behind, finishing in 16th. Bethany Flores sitting near that cut line in 7th. And right now, Kyra Milligan is in 8th, and that would be the final position into the games. Rebecca Fuselier, who had a lot of work to do today, did some of that, coming in 2nd in event 2, and then 14th in event 3, put her in 11th overall. Kelsey Keel, she's in 14th. She had a good finish on that rope climb event, 8th. So a bunch of athletes are still within striking distance. Danny Spiegel in 17th. There's going to be a lot of movement here. So the 8th place position has 210 points right now. She's a little bit of a cushion, Kyra, but you know, down to 20th is 136 points, and that's Sydney McAlishan. So that's only about, you know, less than 80 point difference between 20th and 8th. So a lot of movement can still happen here. People I think that are sort of out of it, I'm gonna say Olivia Kerstetter looks pretty out of it at this point, unless she does incredibly well tomorrow. Devin Kim, probably out of it. So a lot of the athletes we thought could make it are still in the mix for the women. We just have day 3 and the teams to finish up today. Although I think the leaderboard there isn't going to change up too much with this last event, but we'll see. Let's take a quick look at the teams. There are 7 teams qualifying out of North America West. The first team is your defending champions, who you will hear from in just a second. That is CrossFit Invictus. In second, they beat out one of the other Invictus teams, CrossFit Invictus Unconquerable. Those 2 teams were at the top of the leaderboard. There were 8 points separating them going into the final event. CrossFit Invictus won that final event, they took second overall, but they beat CrossFit Invictus Unconquerable, so beat them, took the win from them, and stood on the top of the podium to potentially repeat and stand at the top of the podium at the games, maybe. We'll see. But Invictus first, Invictus Unconquerable in second. CrossFit Complex Wadex, I think is how it's said. They're a Mexican team. They finished in third. Another Mexican team finished in fourth. CrossFit, the W Pack. And then you have Ironhorn CrossFit, CrossFit Kema. CrossFit Overtake Team Density was your final team to make it to the games. They were pretty excited. They weren't sure who was gonna win, who was gonna make it. When I heard their name called, they were pretty stoked about that 7th place team. The 2 Rhino teams who I thought could have qualified finished in 8th and 9th. So those are your teams headed to the CrossFit Games. You'll hear from CrossFit Invictus right after they won and right before they took the podium. So listen to that next. I know it's not any of your first times going to the games, but it's your first time all together as a team. You're defending champs. What are your thoughts going in?
Talk to the champ. Keep defending. We've got a great team right here, some star power athletes, a lot of experience on the team. Jessi's new, but she also has some experience going hard with us now. So
much.
we're going to make it happen again.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to over the next couple of months training?
Just spending more time with each other, having more fun. We've had a blast these last few weeks getting ready for this competition. We're going to continue training hard, but we're going to remember to keep the enjoyment in there. We're like a little family, and it's going to stay that way.
Team dinners. You are family.
Yeah.
What is it like competing as a couple together on a team?
It's probably just as much fun as Lauren had when she did it with Ras. We get to learn. It's cool because I feel like whenever you have an experience and you don't share it with your spouse, the first thing you do is you go back and you tell them about it. But like we get to share that every day at work. We get to automatically share the work experiences. We share the training. We share our hobbies. So it's really beautiful, like knowing that we're making a bunch of memories every time we go into training or go out to the competition floor.
It was cool to see you guys doing the muscle ups together. Lauren, what is it like to be back with Invictus?
It's actually really amazing to be back home at Invictus in San Diego and to be with these 3 and just with everyone. I mean, it was pretty special last night during our team dinner. There was like 30 of us all enjoying the team dinner with the 4 Invictus teams and Karen and Pops all putting together dinner for us. Like, it's pretty special what Invictus has.
Awesome. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
3, 2, 1, go!
We're gonna get in just in time for the final women's heat of event 4, handstand walk and rowing. So let's go inside.
Motherfucker, I've been mortified, fortified, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Traumatized, victimized, seen some of my niggas die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them niggas slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war. Tell that nigga he gon' pick a side. Hood ties from hood lines, now niggas doing dope guns. I'm running to the cops, that's a bitch, nigga exercise. Don't run into the cops, that's the motto. I don't see
Event 4, we had handstand walks and rowing. The women went first, so we're gonna go over how the women did first. And Alex Kazan has put herself in first place. She had a 6th place overall finish in that event, but it was enough to move her into first over Hattie, but also Emily Rolfe moved herself into second. Now she is tied for points right now with Hattie Kenyo, but 5th place on that event. Hattie had an 8th, which Hattie, looking at her finishes, I think she's gonna qualify for the games. Don't think she's gonna win this. She's not winning now, and I just think from here out, she is less likely. I don't know what her snatching ability is or her muscle up capacity on that next workout, but she has a 3rd, 7th, 4th, and 8th. Those are all really consistent finishes, just pretty good all around. Better than even like Emily Rolfe, who was ahead of her, but she has a 2nd, 13th, 2nd, and 5th. And Emily Rolfe could take a hit on the snatch event we're about to see. Strength has never been her strength, although the snatch is a more technical lift, so maybe that's a little bit better for her, and it's not like a max strength test, it's more reps, so maybe it works better for Emily Rolfe than having a true strictly strength test. We'll see. Alex Kazan is also actually going to struggle on the snatch event we're about to see. Snatch is probably her least best lift. I believe she's been working on it, but she'd be much better at a clean ladder if that's what we had. So this top of the leaderboard, which is pretty close in point spread right now, Kazan with 349, Emily Rolfe and Hattie with 346, so all very consistent across the board, very similar scores. Abigail Domit is in 4th with 340, so she could still win the whole thing. And then Ariel Lowens in 5th with 337 points. So all of those women between 1st and 5th going into event 5, there are just 12 points. So who ends up on the top of the leaderboard could really fluctuate. Bethany Flores is next in 6th, and she's at 307. So she's 30 points back of 5th. And then Caitlin Bernardin, she is in 7th with 274, so she's back another 30 points. Bethany Flores just kind of in the middle there by herself. And then there's a little bit more of a closer point spread near the cut line. Although, to be honest, the closest point spread is for the podium spots, not necessarily for the cut line, but people could do some moving there depending on how this next event goes, because I think there's gonna be a lot of points up for grabs in the snatch, because a lot of the women that are at the top leaderboard right now, not very good at that snatching event. So on our cut line, we do have Kyra Milligan still holding down that 8th spot. She should be good at the snatch event. This might give her an opportunity to clear herself that line a little bit and put some space between her and the rest of the field going into the final event. Trista Smith, she is a teenager still. She's currently in 9th. She'll be in the final heat because they're reseeding for 5 and 6, staying the same for 5 and 6, but in between 4 and 5, reseeding everyone. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Danny Spiegel has made herself into that top heat. She's in 10th. Then Rebecca Fuselier, she is in 11th. We'll see how she does on this snatch. She's done pretty well with high percentages of her 1 rep max. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes there. And then some other big names. Olivia Kerstetter actually won that handstand event. She's now in 15th. Kelsey Keel is in 19th. Sydney McAlishan still in 20th, which I believe is where she came in today. So a couple athletes that could maybe do some work on this snatch event, because for those athletes we just talked about, the Kelsey Keel, Olivia Kerstetter, this is actually a home run event for them. And then, like I said, the top leaderboard, not good on that snatch event, I don't think. So could be interesting after 5. Let's go over to the men's side of things. And currently in first, the same as going into today, that is Patrick Vellner. Second is James Sprague. He did pretty well in that handstand event, coming in 5th. Justin Medeiros is your 3rd place athlete. Brent Fikowski in 4th. None of these are like big surprises, and a lot of these athletes are still where they were going into this event or in a similar position. Nothing super crazy there. Cole Sager still in that 6th place. Samuel Quant in 5th. Chris Ibarra has moved down slightly. He's now in 7th. Brandon Luckett in 8th. Cole Grayshaber with a win on that handstand walk event in like pretty dominant fashion. He looked great out there. Tudor Magda also looked very good, but not quite as good as Cole. He's now in 9th, so he's holding down that final position. We take 8 women from this division, this region, and 9 men. So that is that cut line. Colton Mertens in 10th. Handstand walk for him, it just comes down to being a smaller athlete, I believe. He He is currently in 10th. Just doesn't have the same reach on the rower or on the walking. He's just like a muscle, like a big thing of muscles. So 23rd there. So he had a 5th to start out the weekend in that running event. 1st in the toes to bar front squat event, and then a 24th and a 23rd. But he could do well in the snatch. So this snatch event's gonna change some things. Going down the leaderboard, Tudor Magda has put himself in 12th. Other than that, it looks like William Leahy pulled out officially. I was hearing stuff that he pulled out, but then people were not sure. It was a little bit odd, but he doesn't have a finish for this past event, so he's gone. Sam Dancer in 26th, but I think it's going to be right around that cut line, whether the Brandon Luckett's, the Cole Grayshaber, Colton Mertens, Tudor Magda, those athletes, whether they get in or not, is where the interesting race is here. But also the top leaderboard's pretty tight on the men's side as well. Between 1st and 4th, you have just 12 points. So a lot of shaking up can happen there. Who wins this and who's on the podium? Still a mystery, although I believe it'll be between Pat Vellner, James Sprague, Justin Medeiros, and Brent Bukowski. Those will probably be your people on the podium, 3 of those 4. Event 5, let's go. Let's talk about that snatch ladder, event 5. That was a exciting event, probably my favorite event to watch of the weekend, and I think it's placed really well. I think placing it as a second to last event, it really shakes things up. We saw, especially in the women's side, that a lot of the women that were holding those top 3 positions actually weren't really as capable of holding on to that bar. Well, at least the top 2 positions. So in first now we have Hattie Canio. She was, I believe, in 3rd going into this event and now has claimed that top position, and she is the top position by 18 points. So pretty big lead, and big is in big compared to what we were seeing previous to this. Second, we have Abigail Domit, who I believe was like maybe, I don't know, 4th going into this. I shouldn't make these guesses. I don't remember exactly what these people were, but this has definitely changed. Ariel Lowen is in 3rd, and now it's almost difficult for Ariel to win. She is 42 points out of a first place position. Hattie is looking like she's going to take the whole thing. Hiller said she was his dark horse, but not to win the entire thing. It was his dark horse to qualify. And she's going to do a whole lot more than just qualify. She's like definitely going to qualify. There's no mathematical way for her not to qualify at this point. After Ariel Lowen, Alice Kazan has fallen to 4th. We knew that snatch wasn't going to be her event, and it was not. 5th was Emily Rolfe, and she struggled on that snatch quite a bit. She had a 29th position on that snatch event. She was one of the last ones to finish in her heat, if not the last one. Everyone was cheering for her, but I'm sure it's not the place that she wanted to be in. Bethany Flores in 6th. Kyra Milligan has worked her way into 7th and looking like she's in a decent place to qualify. So they're taking top 8 to go to the games. So Danny Spiegel is in 8th place, holding on to that cut line position. Right behind her still is Trista Smith. And then Olivia Kerstetter has made her way into 10th place, and she killed that snatch ladder, easily winning a time of 3:58. Just kind of blew everyone out of the water on that one. Really impressed with just how fast she moved that barbell. She is now, it looks like, about 20 points out of that 8th place position, so still has a shot, but someone like Danny Spiegel holding it down, I don't see her beating Danny Spiegel on this next event unless something happens. So I don't think she's going to quite do enough, but maybe there's enough people in front, but I don't know. I think this top 8 is going to look pretty similar after this final event. That's my prediction, but we will see. Some other athletes we're watching, Kelsey Keel, she is unlikely to make it, but she is currently in 13th. Sydney McAlishan has made her way into 15th, and Rebecca Fuselier has fallen to 17th. She did finish the snatch ladder. She is a smaller girl. I believe she's about 128 pounds. So that 175 barbell, she hit it. She hit it twice. The crowd was behind her. It was super impressive, but just not enough with this field. Great for her, probably a personal win for her, and super impressive for her size, but just not enough in this field to help her get into that games position. So it's looking unlikely. Let's move over to the men. And the man who won is exactly who I would have guessed would have won, and that is Colton Mertens. He went touch and go on that final snatch bar, and I did not get video of the first rep. I got the second rep. I would have loved to have gotten that. I didn't think he was going touch and go. He did, to beat Brent Fikowski in that event. It was super exciting. Brent comes over after and gives him a hug, congratulates him. Brent's a good sport from what I've seen, and he actually put himself into first place after that event. I believe I had him finishing second over all my predictions. I believed in Brent, and he is currently in first. Him and Justin Medeiros will likely be the two battling it out for the win. Brent is 6 points ahead of Justin going into this final event. James Sprague is in third. Fourth, Pat Vellner. Fifth is Chris Ibarra, who looks pretty good to qualify for the games, but the point spread is pretty tight on the men's side of things. So we have Chris, then we have Cole Grayshaber, who's done a lot of work today to make his way into that 6th place position. He had a first place in the handstand event, a 3rd place in the snatch. So Cole doing solid work here. Samuel Quant is now in 7th place. Brandon Luckett has made his way into 8th, and in our final position, 9 men going, is Colton Mertens, using that win, taking advantage of things where he can. Colton has won event 2 and won event 5, came in 5th in event 1, and then has some 20th-ish place finishes for the other 2 events. I think he can probably do well. Again, the bike's not going to be good for him on this next event, but the muscle ups, and he's super strong, so I'm thinking the dumbbells should be okay. You just got to hold on to that 9. In 10 is Cole Sager, who, if he does qualify and make it back into the top 10, he will go to his 11th CrossFit Games. To do that, he will likely just have to knock off Colton Mertens. They're 3 points apart, and 8th place is 20 points ahead of Colton Mertens, so 23 points ahead of Cole Sager. We'll see. Tudor Magda is sitting in 11th. Other than that, a lot of the guys we expected are in the places we expected them to be. So event 6, and then we'll know who's going to the CrossFit Games.
Stand by.
10 toes down, I'm a ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. 10 toes down, I'm a ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. Anything I do for the gang.
Should I take this hat off? I look goofy. Let me take this hat off. Okay, better? Okay. The women's competition has officially come to an end, and it was exciting right to the end. Like I said, it was very competitive at the top, and apparently at the cut line as well. I think the women's side is going to be more fun than the men's. The men haven't went yet, so I don't know what happens when I am recording this. But on the women's side, we had a shakeup in like pretty much every position after that last event. In first, we have Abigail Domit, and I wasn't sure if she was going to qualify going into the weekend, and she came in so strong, looked so good. She was never first until the final event and just had a 4th, 6th, 5th, 9th, 9th, 3rd. All top 10 finishes. Really very impressive weekend. It'll be her 2nd year. I think it's hard to qualify the 2nd time. We've seen a lot of athletes be able to qualify once and not make it back to the games. And she did it, and she did it by winning the semifinal. So Abigail Domit, excited to see what she's going to do at the games this year. She might be a top 10 contender. Really cool to see. Alex Kazan, another person we expect to be a top 10 contender. She finished 2nd, and almost entirely because of that snatch workout. And we've known snatch is her weakest lift. I mean, if it was a bench press ladder, she would have gotten first. I don't have to see the rest of the field. I don't know about the rest of the field's bench press. I just feel strongly that if it was that, she would have gotten first. But it wasn't, and snatch is her weakest lift. She's a great deadlifter too. So 23rd there, 2nd. You don't have to win this to win the CrossFit Games. Laura didn't win her semifinal last year and won the games. Not saying Alex is going to win, but just that this is just a qualifier. 2nd is fine. Ariel came in 3rd, Ariel Lowen. 4th was Hattie Canyo. Great finish for her. She was in first a couple times this weekend, had a 23rd on that last event, struggled a little bit on those lunges at the end, but got it done. We'll be going to her first CrossFit Games, so that'll be cool to see how that plays out for her. In 5th, Emily Rolfe. She had a sort of up and down weekend, but 29th finish again, another weak snatcher. The snatch really changed everything up, and so did this final event. I really like the way these events were programmed and the order they were in. I feel like they made a pretty big difference for these athletes. So in 6th, and this was like the real shocker. In 6th, we had Danny Spiegel, and going into the event, she was just in a qualifying position and finished 6th, 2 spots clear. So good run by Danny Spiegel in that final event. She was able to handle those dumbbells, and that was a big separator for a lot of the girls. In 7th, we had Bethany Flores, who sort of was in a qualifying position all weekend, but just never in a safe qualifying position. She was different than Abigail Domit, who had whole top 10s. Bethany was primarily in the teens, 14th, 11th, 6th, 4th, 19th, 11th. So she was a little bit lower and had a lower finish, but no real bad finishes, and fairly consistent for like fairly consistent to be in the middle, and that's where she was, middle to bottom of the qualifying positions. And then finally, in our 8th place position, we have Kyra Milligan. She's a rookie. You could see when her name was called, like the relief on her face. She was worried. I could see once they finished 7th that her name hadn't been called yet, that she was a little bit nervous. Really happy to see her. Seems like really been working at this for a couple years and a fun person. So not that matters for who should go to the games, but it was just nice to see her make it to the games. She's put in a lot of work, and she went team last year to get some experience, some games experience, and it looks like it paid off. In 9th, we have Olivia Kerstetter. She made it to the games last year, didn't repeat this year. Young though, very young. She has a lot of years to make it back to the games. And then in 10th, Kelsey Keels, who had 2 really great events to finish the weekend, but a 32nd in event 4 really hurt her, and really just a couple spots maybe. She was, about 47 points out of the 8th place position, so a little bit of there was some space there. She needs to do a little bit more work. That 32nd and 24th, those are obvious outliers. Those are events 1 and events 4. All the other events are really solid finishes. So sad for Kelsey Keel. Trista Smith, she came close too. She's young, teenager still, so she has time, kind of like Olivia Kerstetter. This wasn't her year. I think she will have her year, and I think Olivia Kerstetter will have a year again too, a year to make it back to the games. Sydney McAlishan, she finished in 12th, and then Rebecca Fuselier, another name we've been keeping an eye on, she finished in 14th. So a lot of people we expected, a few people we didn't. It'll be an interesting games field. Now on to the men.
This is all we ever wanted. Down on the ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no doubt.
The men are done, and the podium looks very interesting. So in first place, we have Justin Medeiros. He came in second in that final event to bump himself up into first place. Justin may be back. I feel like I personally was sleeping a little bit on Justin after last year, sort of a lackluster performance at semifinals that carried right into the games. Maybe this stellar performance overall, really. I mean, it's all top 10 finishes for him. His stellar performance at semifinals will carry into the games. It's definitely something to keep your eye on after what happened last year, and now that he's looking more like a champ again, could be significant. And yeah, I have an interview with him in just a second, so stay tuned for that. After that, we've got Brent Fikowski, who ended up in second place. He's actually who I predicted to be in second, but I predicted him to be second after Pat Vellner, which did not happen. But he did finish second. James Sprague was in third going back to the games. Pat Vellner, that was your fourth place athlete. I didn't get a chance to speak with him, but the snatch event 5 definitely is what put him in a hole, a 22nd place position in that workout. Everything else was top 10. Samuel Quant quietly coming in 5th, very much Samuel Quant things. In 6th, we have Chris Ibarra, a rookie going to the games, a lesser known name, so it'll be interesting to see how he does and if he can carry this momentum to do well at the games, or if he'll just, first year getting his footing there. We'll see how it goes. Brandon Luckett coming in 7th. 8th, Cole Sager. Cole Sager, everyone thought he was retired, and then he came in here, finished in 8th place. 9 athletes go to the games, so a little bit clear of that. I was surprised to hear his name called in 8th. I think he was out going into this event, put himself into the games field during the last event. That's very Cole Sager moves, Cole Sager doing Cole Sager things. Can't expect less of him. I feel like he kind of always seems like he's about to take a step back and leave things, and just maintains that fitness and going to the game for the 11th time, Cole Sager. And then in 9th, Cole Grayshaber, who really had to do a lot today with a first and a third in order to make it to the games. 23rd in the final event, but wasn't enough to knock him out. And Cole Grayshaber will be going back to the games. After that, we have Tudor Magda. He came in 10th. Colton Mertens ended up in 11th. Just 2 events today that made it really difficult for him to overcome just his build. He took a first in event 5, a first in event 2, a 5th in event 1. There were just some workouts that were bigger people workouts, and he couldn't overcome that. Disappointing for Colton Mertens, but he might be back at the games at some point, just not this year. Then we have Sam Dancer. He finished in 19th. Other than that, I feel like a lot of these people ended up about where we thought they would be. William Leahy was someone we were looking at, but he ended up, it looks like, withdrawing, so no surprises there.
3, 2, 1, go! Congratulations to all of our champions here at the 2024 West Coast Classic.
Less than ideal year at the games.
For sure.
What is it like to come back here and win your semifinal?
Man, it feels so good. I mean, I think last year's semifinal, I was feeling honestly really, really fit and just had really poor execution in workouts, and I wasn't able to really show my fitness. And this year, coming to semifinals, that was the goal, to have clean run-throughs. And I think, man, every single workout went awesome. I mean, I executed, I died for points, and the race that I was in, every single time I won. No top finishes, but did what I did, and by the end of the weekend, going to be standing on top of the podium, which is super cool.
What are you looking forward to in the next couple months getting ready for the games?
Man, so much. I mean, games training's for sure the most fun. Finally get to get outside, start doing some of that cool stuff. But man, the team that we have is awesome. I mean, it's constantly evolving. After last year, obviously not having a year that we wanted, making some changes, adding to our team, and man, just really excited to kind of keep the momentum that we have going.
What's the goal for the games?
Oh, you know what it is, man. I mean, once you've been on the top, you just got to get back there. And obviously that starts with taking it one event at a time, and was able to do that here, and excited to kind of get the next 2 months of training going really, really well.
Great, good luck.
Perfect, thank you.
Is it heavy? Yeah, it's nice. your gold, I think.
Yeah, so cool.
All right, next up, our gentleman podium ceremony.
So, first place, did you come in thinking that's where you would?
Gentlemen, when you hear your name,
I mean, we really wanted to get podium. But at the same time, we were honestly like, you know, just win, you know, why not? You know, you can do it, just do it. And so that was kind of what we wanted to do. You know, as the weekend went along, we were like, okay, just hold on to podium. Like, if that's where you end up, that's okay. But I was just like, I don't think, no, like, why not, you know? Before the last event, I knew where the points were. But I was just like, I'm gonna just do whatever I can do and, you know, let it be what it is. And as I crossed the finish line, I turned around and there was a bunch of girls kind of getting between me and Hattie, and I was like, okay, I think we just did it. I guess that's how it's gonna be. And so yeah, it was such a shakeup there at the end. I mean, the whole top 4 changed. But yeah, we're really excited. We're like, I don't know what to do.
How's your confidence going into the games?
Yeah, of course, I'm really happy. You're always happy to get the win, but I do need to do a little bit of comparison, like with the Europe girls and the East girls, and everybody else, of course, because that's who I'm going to be competing against in August. So we do need to see where we stand. But yeah, I know these next couple months are going to be so hard training, and I'm just so ready for it. Like last year, I thought I was ready for it, and then I'm doing it, and I was like, okay, this is really, really hard. But now I just expect it, and so I feel like we can actually like build into the peak. Because this weekend, I just felt like I didn't have to like sell my soul on everything like I did last year, and so now I'm like, I feel really good. I'm like, we'll take some time off, we'll, you know, recuperate everything, but yeah, I'm ready to get into it, you know, so I'm excited.
Yeah, were you at all nervous about trying to compete again? Last year kind of came in, there was no target on your back, you didn't know your name. Now this year you had to get back to the game.
No, I mean, I wasn't nervous about just qualifying. I wasn't even really nervous about podium. It was more so like, because I was like, I want to win. I think I can win this thing. Just the way the events laid out and everything, I was like, I think I could do this. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like this was the most chill semifinal I've ever been to. Like, everybody was so relaxed, at least the first couple days. Everybody was just in a great mood. Nobody was crying yet. But then day 3, it was like a totally different, like the tension just went up. Like even myself this morning after the first event on the rowing and the handstand walk, I was so like, just like frustrated with myself because I felt like I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't do what I wanted to do. But I was like, okay, like let's move on, let's go and finish this thing. And I guess it all worked out, but at the same time, we still got a lot of work to do on everything. Everything needs to continue to get better, and that's the direction we're headed. So.
Well, good luck. I think you have a photo to take.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to train.
All right, so you were the 8th place athlete. How were you feeling? Like, I was looking at your face when they were pulling out the name. What's going through your head?
I didn't want to puke. I kept crying and I was trying to suck back in. But I knew that I knew who I had to beat, and I knew that I beat one of them, and still like that doubt until your name gets called. But when it was called, it was like surreal. I'm so excited. So excited. Sorry.
No, you're doing great. Did you know going into this that you were going to qualify? Did you feel confident this weekend?
I didn't feel confident because, I mean, when you end a competition with a lunge, right, like you can literally see your dreams going. And so when I dropped the lunge, because I did the rings unbroken, lunged halfway, dropped it, and then I saw Danny just blow by me, and I was like, that's it. That's my spot. So once, like I said, until my name got called, like I wasn't sure. I was definitely still hopeful, but I wasn't sure.
What are you most looking forward to in training and going to the games?
I'm excited that we have Luca that just qualified in Europe. Gracie just qualified out in Oceania, so they'll be there. We're all training under Kyra, and it's just going to be a really good training group there.
What does it mean to you to finally qualify after 20 times as an individual, going team last year, and now just by yourself?
Honestly, it means a lot. Like, I was almost going to go team again this year. Like, we had a team kind of ready to go because I didn't fully believe in it. And then when that team fell through, I was like, oh, okay, like I have to start actually training for this. And to get 18th place on a run, which might not be that big of a deal to some, that was a pretty big deal for me. And then 18th place on a handstand walk, and then 7th place on 500 dubs. Like I had 3 of my worst movements come up, and to still qualify with that, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Bye, Carson. Not my Carson. We're going home to see him. All right, about to start the trek back to the Bay, but before we do that, I spent too much money. I got some stuff at Born Primitive, and then I also got some stuff from Northern Spirit, which is the new group that did the uniforms that you have to wear at semifinals. I don't know if they're gonna provide the uniforms for the games. I don't really know who's doing that. GoRuck is the main sponsor. They have clothes, but like not a ton of clothes, I feel like. So maybe that's what's gonna happen next. But I'll try those on too, and maybe I'll wear them for a workout and do a video about that. But before we get there, I bought this new belt that I'm super excited about. Like, look how cool that is. Maybe it'll make me like lifting. We'll find out soon, hopefully. I'm actually really excited to use this belt, which means I have to lift something to use this belt. So we're gonna do one more thing before I leave. We're gonna talk about the Oceania leaderboard, because we haven't really talked about that. And I did watch all of the relevant heats, not all of the heats, the relevant ones. So I do know what happened there, but I focused more on this. But we're just gonna touch on it in case you missed it. So in Oceania, for the men, we had Ricky Garrard in first. He was a heavy favorite to win the whole thing. His lowest finish was 4th. I mean, first, 4th, second, third, first. Everybody, watch out. Ricky Garrard is coming back as long as he doesn't get injured doing something stupid. Fun. He was doing fun stuff, but stupid stuff. I don't think he'll make that same mistake this year. I think all these men here have to watch out for Ricky Garrard this summer. He looks pretty good. Third, though, or second was Bailey Martin. He looked really good this weekend. Again, just a bunch of really solid finishes. And I also have to put in perspective that these finishes mean a little bit less. They're a little bit different in Oceania. The depth of the field is less. There's less depth to it. It's a more shallow field. So it's a little bit easier to do better. So Bailey Martin had a 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 3rd. I mean, also really great. Only 13 points behind Ricky Garrard. Jay Crouch, who we thought was like the guy to beat, and he was in first for a while, and he like called his shot at times. He was like, I'm sorry I didn't push Ricky on that first event, but I'm coming to play now. And he did play, but he did have a 9th place finish in that snatch event. Again, that snatch event really, like here in Carson, it had a big impact. In Europe, it had a big impact. Oceania, 9th is just, it's just so far his worst finish. And I'm sure in North America East next week, that snatch event is going to shake things up. And then Peter Ellis was our 4th place finisher, rounding things out. And he had a 20th on that snatch event, cap +2. Doesn't look great for him to do pretty well at the games, because you got to finish that event, really. Yeah, you got to finish that event. So I wouldn't be putting any money on Peter Ellis to do anything great at the CrossFit Games this year. But Jay Crouch, even with that weakness, that hole, he still finished the event faster than some of the men we saw here. He had 7:50. Jay's fine. Unfortunate that one event caused so much of a problem for him, but again, it comes back to the fact this is such a shallow field that one 9th place finish is going to really hurt you, where we talked about other athletes at North America West who had 9th place finishes and placed better than Jay. So it's the field. It is what it is. Because he had, with that number of points, 552, that would win some regions. It's just, you can't afford bad finishes in these less deep fields. Over to the women, and there was a little bit of a surprise here. Grace Walton coming in 1st place. And again, just really solid finishes. She did really well on the snatch ladder. She came in 2nd on that, but 1st in the handstand walk event. That's what really propelled her to the top of that leaderboard. Before that, Maddie Sturt was in 1st, and she had a 1st, 3rd, 13th, and a first. Again, having that one hole, the snatch, really hurt her. It's a harder lift for Maddie. She doesn't do as well on it. And again, you can't have a 13th and win in a region like this, where there's just not a lot of people middling people on a lot of events. She literally had 4 first place finishes. She won 4 of the events and then had a 3rd and a 13th and came in 2nd. Yeah, just how it is. She could have won the semifinal if her snatch was a little better. And that's all. That's the only difference. Daisy McDonald was our 3rd place finisher. And in 4th, we had Georgia Pryor. So Maddie and Grace Walton were just way above the rest of the field. Daisy and Georgia were close. And then the next person was 24 points out. Caitlin Van Ziel, who we were all watching, she was doing well at the beginning of the weekend. Then took a 20th and a 23rd on events 3 and 4. And that just kind of put her in a hole she couldn't get out. Take a quick look at the teams. Let's go teams. If I can click, there we go. And in first place was the team that I thought would win, and that is Raw Iron CrossFit Mayhem Thunder. That is the team with all of the big names: Cara Saunders, Con Porter, James Newberry, and Emily DeRoy. So just a stacked team of really incredible athletes. CrossFitorian Mayhem, they came in 2nd. Another team that we all expected to do well. Royce Dunn is on that team. Lots of games experience for him. And then in 3rd, CrossFit EFX. That was a little bit of a surprise for me, but that'll be your 3rd place team going to the games from Oceania. And that rounds out this weekend. Very busy weekend, very fun weekend. I loved being here. This is just such a great time. Can't wait for Fort Worth. I hope I'm going. We'll see. Anyway, though, forgot this part. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you watch this video, which I'm thinking is going to be like close to an hour long, and you're not subscribed, come on, please hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you had a good time. Leave me a comment. I like to respond to as many of them as possible. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.